Hi everyone. Welcome to Crash Q&A for cross-cultural learning. This is your host Betty Liu, speaking to you from Shanghai, China. No matter you're heading to a foreign country or in a new culture environment to work or to do business, or just acquire a brand new culture experience, this program is for you. You will hear fresh and interesting insights, studies, and stories about culture across various disciplines that you might have never heard before, and also get practical tips and suggestions. So today our question is whether understand the local language is important for participating in cross-cultural activities with local people. The answer is yes and no. It depends on your activities and goals. Let's first start with the no part. It's easier to explain. If your activities and goals do not need you to have varied kinds of interactions with local people, or you are not particularly searching for specific local knowledge or perspectives, especially from those local ones who only speak the local language, then whether you know the local language or not is not a big issue. For example, if you plan to travel to Italy with your friends for 7-day holiday, then whether you can speak Italian or not will not likely become a big issue for accomplishing your travel. Now let's move to the yes part. This is a longer story. If your activities need to have a more frequent and in-depth communications, interactions, and collaborations with local people, and also you need to obtain particular local knowledge and perspectives, including the majority of local people who cannot speak or only speak a little bit of your language. The language issue plays a crucial part in deciding whether you can effectively or how effectively it can be for you to engage with cross-cultural activities as well as reaching your goals. And there will be the potential risks of the failures if you fail to pay enough attention as well as have reasonable preparations to manage the invisible interruptions the language issue can bring to your cross-cultural interactions. For example, if you're a person coming from an English-speaking country and have a business meeting with a Chinese company, then you heard someone from the Chinese side introducing a Chinese person in English to you as, "This is teacher 1." Then intuitively, your first reaction would be, "Mr. 1 is a person who teaches." And then you might come up with a confusing question like, "Why does a company send a teacher to the meeting?" So, here you are very likely facing a classic and typical cross-cultural communication and also a language challenge, which is right from not knowing the Chinese language and the culture behind the Chinese language. If you look up the English to Chinese language dictionary, the English word teacher can be translated into Chinese word pronounced 老师. And according to how Chinese native language speaker uses Chinese word 老师, it can refer to somebody who teaches, but also can refer to somebody who does not teach, but this Chinese native language speaker has great respect or want to show great respect to. So to speak, a Chinese person can use the Chinese word 老师 or English word teacher to refer to his or her supervisor, manager, colleague, boss, professor, or even stranger. This kind of thinking in one language and speaking in another language phenomenon happens very frequently, even if it does not happen every time in cross-cultural communication activities, when the participants coming from different language and culture backgrounds. You might laugh about this phenomenon or think it is wrong, but I can tell you, there are actually scientific reasons behind this language behavior. The point here is, when you don't know the local language as well as its usage, there is a chance that you are even unable to aware that what you thought you come to understand is not what people actually meant. And there are enormous vocabularies and phrases have same or similar situation like 老师 and teacher when comparing Chinese language to English language. Unfortunately, there is no single English to Chinese or Chinese to English language dictionaries is capable of listing and providing the exhaustive explanation on all cases like this. The simple fact is, there are just too many of them to be documented. And as a result, there are many misunderstandings and miscommunications between native Chinese language speakers and English language speakers happen out of the reason that the two sides just fail to interpret each other's language according to each other's own culture background. And by the way, this phenomenon does not happen only between native Chinese language speaker and the English language speaker. It happens to any language speakers who come from different cultural backgrounds. So, how can you cope with this language as well as culture challenges effectively when you do not know the local language and culture adequately or need to engage in cross-cultural activities? This will be the content for our next episode. So stay tuned for the next one, and I'll see you next time. Bye.